Yo, it's Guido coming at you with the Tactics Talk, guys. Welcome back and thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to talk about the red team deployment mistakes, how to notice them, how to recognize them, and what to do when you see them. Already headed over to my corner. I'm on my mill. I'm bottom tier in a tier 10 and a tier 8 in a mill 1951, a tier 8 French premium auto-loading heavy tank. Kind of the cousin to the ML1 right there. You'll notice there are no heavy tanks on top. There's an FV on their side, okay, the crap barn, and then we got a JPZ, which is a bit to our benefit because it's more of an assault TD than the 4005 is. So right away our top is a little better. Minus the 430U is way better than the UDES 1516, especially on this map. But notice that the 430U has dove into the middle road along with a couple other guys. That's the part that you need to start doing and trying to learn how to do and recognizing when you're playing, even as you're deploying to your initial spot. So I've picked this initial spot. I think you know where I'm going on the corner. It's a nice hold down spot. I have a pretty good turret. Not great against some of these tier 9s and 10s, but usable. And especially for the tier 8 should be pretty good. It's a nice spot. There are 2 artillery, which is going to make this where I'm going a little bit weaker than I like. But I've already noticed that the 430U and the 7.1 and the Scorpion G. Scorpion G is a little bit of a surprise. I would expect him to be redlining somewhere, but that's fine. He's kind of out of the picture unless I try to cross through the middle. So let's see what else we got. I'm reloaded. I've dabbed 2. I'm going right to skill. And I'm going to come over here and see if I can get some shots. Now, I expect when I do this to see somebody coming down this road pretty quickly. And the point here is to get me some early damage, maybe 1 or 2 shots, and then get back, reload, and assess and see what's going on. We're going to let this run. I'm going to let you see what happens. The 152K is back there. But as I get to this point, I have an expectation for what the enemy deployment will be. And you should too. You should know the maps good enough by now, especially if you're in the 10,000 battle area. And you should start to think about, even if you don't, even if you're newer than that and you're trying to learn how to do this, start thinking about where you go, where the aggressive spots are. If you don't take aggressive spots, pay attention to where aggressive players go. Watch those spots and see what shows up. And within the first 2 or 3 minutes, start to figure out where their tanks are and if they've gone to the normal strong spots. If they haven't, ask yourself why. Look at their setup. Start thinking about what the possible reasons for that are. Maybe they've gone somewhere else. You already see them on the map. They're just not there because the 430U showed up in the middle road. Something like that. Maybe it's just a bad player and he's camping in the back. Okay, lots of reasons that it could be, but pay attention to what's lit and what you expect to see and then start to react to that. So I'm going to let this go. 152 is over there. Now, what are the tanks that I'm kind of worried about? Well, the T-30 is going to be a problem, potentially, right? There's a little replay action right there on what's going on. That's really bizarre. That's not what I'm doing with my camera. There's the T-30. He just showed up on the map. That's the guy I was worried about the most, either showing up on that corner or on this corner. Got to get the scroll thing going on. Or this corner over here. Bad juju if the T-30 shows up. He's not going to care a whole lot about this turret, all right? It's a good turret, but it's not that good, especially if you start slinging gold. Maybe the Malshin is another guy I'm worried about showing up. But as I look at that, and hopefully you've noticed this too, once I get past the 430U, the Malshin, maybe the Centurion, and the T-30, what else is really going to come into the middle here and fight on their team? Not a whole lot. Not a whole lot. Now, some of those TDs could be aggressive. Maybe the WT moves up. Maybe the RHM moves up. They have turrets. The Centurion 7.1's already spotted, so he was a possibility, but he's gone. The 4005 is kind of the big one I'm worried about. I don't want him to come around the corner and blap me in the face. But I'm starting to already get the sense that this is maybe going to play a little differently. Right? Bunch of TDs. Some of them are pretty soft. I've already seen a couple of the tanks I was worried about. Very interesting. How's this going to go down? There we go. There's the Malshin. So we'll shoot him. He backs up. He doesn't keep coming. He's on the back corner. So take a look at the minimap where he is down here. He is stopped at this back corner. He did not make it up to this area where he can kind of side scrape into some of these things and rubble. He stops here, which when I see people stop at a place I don't expect, all right, I expected him to move into the strong position. I start to wonder and start to assume a little bit that maybe he doesn't have a lot of friends. It could be he's waiting for people to show up or he's trying to bait you. Those are always possibilities. But usually people charge hard for the strong spots, and he's not doing that. His T-30 peeled off. His 110 is not coming up. I see the 110 now. And now I'm starting to look at this and go, well, this is very interesting. The other thing that hasn't happened that happens quite a bit is nobody's showed up right here to keep us honest. So far, anyway, nobody is on this corner. Now, it is early in the battle, and there are a lot of guns left. So it's not time to go crazy. Let's not just blitz across right now. But the intel is starting to build up, right? The actionable information is beginning to build up. Interesting, the WZ just went across. Okay. So he is now right there. If there is somebody that has snuck up around this corner, okay, the WZ more than likely got spotted crossing. If there's some or some buddies, multiples, they may show up here pretty soon looking for shots to come around on a singular WZ-120. So I'm going to wait for this. I should have reloaded. I was a little bit surprised, even though I'm talking about this now at 1G. I'm watching the T-30 move in, by the way. This is very important. Let's talk about the reload real quick. I still expected somebody to show up. I was starting to get an inkling, started getting an idea that they weren't going to show up. But now I'm thinking, man, I kind of needed to reload. I wish I'd have known now, or known then what I know right now, because I would have reloaded. T-30 just crossed. Very interesting. Look at the IS-3 too. He's going. Looks like he's assessed it earlier than I did. Now there's the T-30. T-30 has moved. He's come back around the corner. Not really going to have a good shot at him. But our T-30 says, you know what? You're a one-shot to me. And then he misses, of course. Bit of a bummer. Just waiting for the T-30. I am hanging it out a little bit, but the IS-3 too looks like he double-tapped that guy. And now we have a very unusual situation for Ruinberg at the strong point. The enemy team has invested pretty heavily up into the small town. They've put 3 important tanks into the middle. Scorpion G actually died. He never really got there. So now 2 important tanks into the middle. The Malshin and the 110 are in that other middle road, side middle road, and the T-30 just died. And I'm looking at the setup going, well, that's very interesting. Let's go ahead and react to the enemy team, right? Going to react to what's happening. We're going to move across here. Beautiful. I get across. Half expected when I came around this corner to take artillery shots, but now I've created a local crossfire, right? So I've done a local flank, a tactical flank is what I've talked about in the past. That's in your general area. Not I have flanked around the map, but I have created a flanking maneuver. They're flanking shots on the Malshin and the 110. I am a little bit worried about what I might find when I come around this corner, so let's see if somebody happens to be here. I am not reloaded. There's that reload problem, which I should have done earlier. I would already be in firing. I expect somebody to be here. There he is. There's that somebody. And we'll just zoom in, and I accept not quite load all the way zoomed in. That's a bummer. And another little snap, and it works. The Malshin. All right, that little technique with the camera was to see if his turret was pointing at me. It wasn't, so I'm going to come around the corner and shoot him right in the side. There we go. Now I'm going to eat a reload. Back, all the way around the corner. No sense letting the artillery get any free shots on me any more than they need to. And I'm watching the Malshin. What's he doing? WZ-120's taking him on, and I'm going to take another chance here. He's not looking. I'm thinking about it. I'm like, I'm going to make this an even better flanking move. I'm going to come over to this side. And now, more than likely, I can't be bombed by their artillery by sitting over in this corner. I've actually covered up against their artillery or other guys that are down this road right here, shooting from way back here where the WT is shown. And now I've got all kinds of free shots on the side of the Malshin. A little bit of a bad shot here. It's a really bad angle. His turret turns though, which makes it very nice. A couple real sweet flat plate shots onto the side of his turret, and then I'll keep on moving into another reload. Probably should have gone to regular APCR right here. This thing carries 2 different kinds of APCR. Didn't really, air quotes, need. I'm going to eat an artillery stun from this guy. Should have fixed it, but there you go. Su-14-2 takes a hit. That's actually spotting for me, so I get 362 out of that. Down goes the WT, and we are clean up on aisle 2. I'm going to take a chance going straight in here. I find this too. That was actually pretty funny. He's going to shoot right by me. Yeehaw. Slow turret takes a while. I'm turning the hole. Very important. You see me spin the hole in the turret at the same time. That was a great example of it, just to get my gun online as fast as possible. We'll take him down, and we'll keep on trucking. Go to cover here. I'll hit C for another reload, and we'll just hang out here for a moment. We got 3 kills, only 1,622 damage. 432 assists. And it's all over but the shouting, right? At this point, we're just looking to do a nice little cleanup. I'm not going to get a shot on this guy, probably. I'm going to close in the range on him. He doesn't quite see me yet, I don't think. Or maybe he does. So we'll cross over here. Spoil his shot. If he wants his shot, he's going to have to come around the corner. He gets hit anyway. That's spotting for me. I see the standard B right there. I take a hasty snap, hoping that that little prayer shot will work. He dies, so I don't have to work on him anymore. Pretty sure he's right there trying to reload. I just shoot right into the same spot. Down he goes. And then we've got the ELC even 90. I won't get a shot. So I end up with 1,622 damage, 663 assists, and 4 kills. The guy goes raging through there. I'm not sure if he rams. No, it looks like the Scorpion G. I'm not sure if he shot or rammed him. I'm not sure right there. So there you go, an example, bottom tier, of reading the enemy deployment, looking at a non-standard kind of enemy deployment, being able to look at the tanks that they have, that the red team has, and start to assess what you think is going to happen from the beginning. And then as you get those clues, your clue bag gets filled up with each new clue, you can make decisions like crossing across right there, which usually about that point of the battle with that many guns left in the game isn't a great idea. But in that case, looking at what was spotted and what was going on, it looked like a pretty good bet that I could cross right there. The other thing I will talk about there is I did stay as far over to the west as possible, hug the line right there. I wanted to minimize the amount of spotting these guys could get on me down here. And if you're far enough over here towards the one column, you can minimize the amount of shots that come up from here in the north part of the village, up high right there coming at you. If you cross over here, which is the normal crossing spot that people take like the WZ did, then you're just a little bit more open to fire right there. Couple tactical local flanks to get around there and get better shots at somebody and to continue to put the pressure on as this really pretty bad enemy deployment is able to be completely exploited by our team and ends up being a 15-4. I think another thing to think about here, especially for people who get mad about matchmaking and turbo battles or romple stomps, whatever you want to talk about it. Pay attention to those and prioritize paying attention where your team goes. And you can pretty quickly see a trend for a bad deployment turning into a romple stomp or a okay deployment with a few key tanks getting taken out early turning into romple stomps. Just pay attention to that. I think it'll open your eyes. All right, guys, that's all I've got for today. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see ya.